Hey, happy Friday, everybody, and welcome to another Chamber Check-In episode from Idaho's only five-star accredited chamber. Today, I'm super stoked to feature a cold storage. It's a portable cold storage company called Cool It of Boise. And I've got the owner with us today, Mr. Tim Lohman. Hi, Tim.
Hi, good afternoon, Paul, and happy Friday to you. And thank you for the opportunity to be on this Chamber Live. We appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. We've been doing this. We talked about this a little bit for about 3.5 years now, and I just love the way that this tool works to help share our members' stories, their products and services, but most importantly, the people, Tim, because that's what makes all of our businesses run, are the people. So let's start with you. Tell me and help me share a little bit about you, your background, and history of work that led you to becoming an entrepreneur.
Well, I think if I go back to when I was back in college, I actually started working on a degree in business management. During that time, I changed over to criminal justice. I found that criminal justice was something that I had a big interest in. And so I moved forward with that degree, and actually I finished both, but it's always good to have a backup plan, right? Because you never know which direction or what path you're going to end up going down. So I did get hired by a law enforcement agency. I worked for 27 and a half years. I worked up through the ranks and worked a number of wonderful positions with the agency. And when I found that going to work every day, I felt like there was something else out there. And so I decided to take a leap and get into running my own business. Like I said, I've been dabbling in it for years, but then finally made the launch after I got near the end of my career with law enforcement.
Wow. What role did you have in law enforcement?
You mean the positions that I held there? So I started off as working in the jails, and then I worked patrol. I patrolled different cities within the county, and then I became a DARE instructor.
Cool.
A school resource officer. And then during that time, I also had the opportunity to work bike patrol. I worked the jails again. I got promoted up the ranks. My final job that I worked, besides working administration, I was the department PIO. So I got to do the public information officer. So what happens is when there were big events going on, or a major event, I should say, in the law enforcement community, I would be the one that responds and talks to the media.
Well, Tim, I just want to thank you for your service. What an amazing career, and being in the ranks of your community as law enforcement and a public servant. Thank you very much for that, Tim.
Thank you, Paul. Appreciate it.
Okay, tell us about Cool It. What is it? It's a portable cold storage company, but expand on that. When did it start? Where did it start? And how many franchises are there?
Okay, so let me go back. We're talking. So my brother and my brother actually went into business. He used to work in the supermarket. As a matter of fact, Albertsons was one of them, Paul. And he did that for years and found that he wanted to get into business. So he got into portable storage back in 2006. So he had been doing that ever since. He decided in 2008 that he wanted to come up with a climate-controlled container, in which he was working with. It never really launched. He did have some prototypes, but it didn't go the way he wanted it to go. Then in 2013, he started playing with the cold storage business and started doing some prototypes because he thought that cold storage, or portable cold storage in this case, would be a good route to go. Now, mind you, while I was in law enforcement and my brother was in business, I would always spend more time seeing what he was doing and what he was developing. So that was where my interest was kind of going while he was doing this. And so in 2016, he finally got a prototype that he liked. and we worked with it a little bit more. We were adding more stuff to it. And then really in 2019 is the magic year when things really came together. As you know, in 2020 or 2019, 2020, we were hit with the pandemic. And we saw that our cold storage containers were sold out. We didn't have any more. And the reason being is because of the hospitals. So in an unfortunate situation, our business ended up taking off because of vaccines. And of course, the unfortunate part about people passing away in the hospitals, there just wasn't enough locations. So that pushed us to the forefront of getting our business on the map, per se. And so as we've seen the pandemic starting to scale back and things starting to open up again, we found that there was, besides the hospital aspect, we found that the business would be better suited when the world started opening up as far as restaurants and events and et cetera. So we found that it had taken off at that point. We decided to franchise the company. And so right around the time that I was deciding to retire from the sheriff's office, I decided, you know what, I'm going to franchise mine up to the Boise area because that's where my kids live and my grandbabies live. So I wanted to be closer to them. And at that point, that's when I started running Cool It here in the Boise area. And again, so my brother still runs it in Southern California. We also expanded to 8 different locations. We just opened up Vegas just recently. And Vegas is because we just landed the Super Bowl and Formula One. So we're pretty excited about that. This will be the second time that we've done Super Bowl. The first time we did it was when it was in LA down in the SoFi Stadium. So yeah, we're super excited about this new adventure. So
incredible. Tim, I think that story is a catalyst for growth. You had mentioned that the Cool It portable storage units are for events and retail, but I was looking online, and you mentioned medical as well, but catering, bakery, floral, retailers, food distributors, schools, festivals and special events, hospitals, the dairy industry, wineries and vineyards, breweries and distilleries, bioscience and pharmaceuticals. So the list just goes on and on. Anything that needs to be held at a cold temperature, you've got the unit. So tell us about those physical units. How much storage do you have? Are there shelving units in? How do you access in and out for the customer? Tell us about a little bit more in detail when a customer orders from you. Tell us about that.
So when a customer orders a container from us, the first thing obviously is we want to make sure that it's in a suitable location where we can deliver the unit, right? Whether it's a park, whether it's asphalt ground, cement ground, gravel. Then we talk to the customer about the electrical connection. So our units do run off electricity. They run off of 220 single phase units, which are more cost effective anyway when you're running electricity for these types of units. Once we drop the units off, they are ground level loading. They do come with ramps. They have lights on the interior. And then also to make it even easier for them is that we monitor the temperature. So it is, our units are more about the technology aspect that goes into portable cold storage, because I'll be honest with you, the last thing we want is a customer to go to their, they're depending on a company like us to bring out cold storage. Suppose if their refrigeration or freezers broke down, they want to make sure that their food is safe. And so one of the ways that we offer that is that we can make sure that the temperatures remain where they need to be. And if there is a problem, I'm able to diagnose it and try to figure out what the problem is. And not only do we temperature monitor, but we can also give graphs to how the container is operating. Perhaps if they wanted some data, we have Excel spreadsheets that we can provide to the customer to say this is the temperature that your food has been at. Some of the other things too is that besides the ramps and the ground level loading and the temperature monitoring, is that we're local, right? So being a local company allows me the opportunity to give 100% customer service. And I think that that's the most important, because if there is an issue, you're going to get me. And so since I'm the only one that runs a company besides my son, who will help once in a while, he has a full-time job, so he tries to be a part of the company, and hopefully he'll join me. Every dad's dream is to work with their son or daughter. In this case, I'm waiting for him to make the transition eventually, but having us local allows us to service the customer and give them 100% customer satisfaction.
Explain a little bit about that.
As far as is when you're talking about customer service, meaning being local and being able to provide that service?
No, what I mean is when a customer orders a cold storage unit from you, you're making sure you're tracking the temperature, you're delivering the unit, and you're a phone call away. But what other services are of benefit to that client?
Well, I think the other services that are a benefit would be the fact that let's take, for example, the electrical component to these containers being electrical, as opposed to running off of a generator or running off of or being an all-in-one unit where the customer is required to put fuel in the generator.
That's
in
right.
this case, it being electric, it's an easy electrical connection that they don't. There's no maintenance there's nothing that they have to do other than making sure that the electrical connection is there. And if not, we can guide them on that. And so, part of the customer services is an all-in-one package. Even though we do have generators that we can rent with our coolers. And the reason being is because we found that not all businesses may have the proper electrical connection. So we wanted to be able to offer an all-in-one package. One of the other things that you had mentioned too was the shelving aspect. Yes, we can rent shelves with our units as well. Generally, I have found from the customers that I've had so far, I think there was only one that had required shelves, but for the most part, businesses have them already in their own walk-in coolers that they utilize, and they can just roll them right in there with the ramps and the pallet-sized doors. They're able to just bring their stuff right in.
On the bottom of the screen is your website and personal cell phone to order. How far out are we on these containers? How many do you have, and what's your capacity to rent?
So right now I have 14 units.
Oh, wow.
And we have two different sizes. We have a 20-foot container and a 10-foot container. So our capacity is right now, now that we're in the wintertime, it's a little bit slower, but I will tell you during the summertime, we were almost 100% sold out. As a matter of fact, I had to get some additional units to make sure that I could service our customers. But generally, what's nice about the business is that I'll answer the phone, and the phone number that's on the bottom of the screen, I'll answer that 24 hours a day. Wow. And the reason being is it doesn't matter whether it's the weekend, it doesn't matter whether it's a holiday. Keep in mind that it's not if your refrigerator or freezer breaks down, it's when. And when it breaks down, you want to have a company that you can pick up the phone and you can call, and we can bring it right out to you without delay. And one of the good things, again, when we go back to being a local company, is that I can have this container to you within 25, 45 minutes, depending on where I'm at and where, if I'm out on the truck already. But I can have it to you in for a business that is crucial, because when a refrigerator breaks down, and I can't tell you how many stories that I've heard where a refrigeration's broken down and they're throwing out thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars worth of food. And and I'll be honest with you, I'm one of those people that wants to come in there and save the day like a superhero, right? With my Kool-Aid cape. And I want to be able to keep these restaurants in business. And having these portable cold storage containers will allow us to do that. And one more side note too is the flexibility of these containers. They can either freeze, meaning they can get down to -10 degrees, or they can refrigerate. Now, why I tell you this is important, because we had a restaurant down in Boise who had a walk-in cooler and a walk-in freezer, and so they were using it as a refrigerator. And what ended up happening is that their freezer went down. So what they did is they called me, and I was able to remotely change that cooler into a freezer, and they moved their stuff right in, and they were able to continue to do business, and they lost 0 product.
Wow.
So some of the benefits.
That inventory is that caterer's livelihood. And I've worked in the grocery business a long time, and yeah, you have a whole freezer aisle go down. You only have a few hours to save that product. So I'm so glad that Cool It of Boise is here, and I'm glad, Tim, that you're a part of this organization. And I know your son will eventually work with you and take the reins. I know. Let me make sure I covered everything. High quality walk-in coolers, dedicated service. We talked about the benefits of hiring Cool It, that ground level access. That's really unique as well, making it easy and efficient for your clients to get in and out of the containers. 11 locations currently, and Boise opened up a few years ago. You're up to, I remember when we first talked, you had like 1 unit, and now you're up to 14. That's incredible.
Right.
Is there anything else, while I have you, that you'd like to educate the public on?
Well, quite honestly, Paul, you've helped me, drastically, and I appreciate it. You've been with me since I joined the chamber since day one, and I appreciate everything that you're doing. I just want customers or chamber members to know that we are out here. Give us a call. Look at our website. It's down on the bottom of the screen. Give me a call if you have any additional questions. But we're here to serve you. And we're happy to be a part of the community and the people that we've had as customers so far. You can even look at our reviews. You can see what kind of service that we give. And I want you to know, if you go with our company, please know that you'll be taken care of. And I guarantee you'll get that 100% customer satisfaction.
Tim, thanks so much for your time today. Really appreciate your investment in the community and the chamber. I look forward to our next after hours where we can cheers to the holidays.
Perfect, Paul. Thank you again, and I do appreciate the opportunity to you, to the chamber. Thank you for allowing me to show on this chamber check-in.
Absolutely, our pleasure. Have a great weekend, Tim.
All right, Paul. You do the same. Thanks again.